Hello guys, welcome to Trendy Earth Talk with Nurse Aji. The Coroner Inquest set up to investigate the circumstances surrounding the death of Mohbad began about 2 weeks ago, and on their first sitting they featured Mohbad's mom, his dad and his DJ. Those three gave their own testimony as to what they know concerning Mohbad's sudden demise. And just about few days ago, the second sitting featured Mohbad's widow, Wunmi, the one most people have been yearning to hear her own side of the story. Wunmi spoke at length. She spoke for more than 3 hours. She testified to the fact that she and Mohbad got to know each other since they were in secondary school or high school, and their love began from there, and they have been inseparable until his death. So she spoke at length, so I'm just gonna break it down subject matter by subject matter. On the issue between Mohbad's father and Wunmi said that she and her father-in-law began on a very good note. They were so close to the extent that they eat from the same plate. And she also said that her father-in-law constantly pray and bless her womb that she conceive and give birth. She said they were like best of friends, and that Mohbad's father suddenly visits their rented apartment with his girlfriend, or should I say concubine or side chick, whenever he likes, and he accorded him his due respect as to the fact that it was his son's house, and they were like that until they had their first child, Liam, and Mohbad's father requested for the placenta of the baby, which Mohbad refused to give his father the placenta, saying that he does not feel comfortable handing over his child placenta to his father. And to Mohbad's father, he might have thought that Wunmi must have been the mastermind behind Mohbad's refusal, and that was the onset of their issue, and their relationship begins to sour. Wunmi also said that Mohbad, as usual, come to visit them again with the same girlfriend as usual, but this time when he came, he met Mohbad's mom, who had also come to pay them a visit. But to Mohbad's father, he thought that Wunmi might have set him up with Mohbad's mom, and then this bring up a fight between him because he believed that it was all Wunmi's handwork, and that was when there's enmity began fully. So Wunmi also denied the claim that Mohbad's father made earlier, that he saw a bucket of blood when he came to their house. Wunmi said there was no blood anywhere, and that bucket was filled with water and not blood, and that there was no blood whatsoever gushing out from anywhere, and that the wound Mohbad earlier sustained was just a minor wound, and that Mohbad's younger brother can attest to that claim. So that was the account on Wunmi's relationship, or what transpired between Wunmi and her. So now let's dive into what transpired between Mohbad and his friend Prime Boy on the night of the show, and what led to the argument or fight. Wunmi said that Mohbad had been invited for a show at Ikorodu, and then Mohbad went with Wunmi and the baby, Mohbad's younger brother, and then Prime Boy. She said that they got to the venue at 7 p.m. but Mohbad did not perform until 9 p.m. and that she was seated in the car with the baby. So after Mohbad's performance, and then they were ready to leave the venue, but the fans were all there beckoning on Mohbad to wet the ground, as usual. You have to do something for your fans. They were asking for money. And then Mohbad gave them 100,000 naira. But it was not enough, as the crowd were still there beckoning for more money. And that Mohbad had requested for a bouncer to help disperse the crowd, but none was forthcoming. And that they were there in the car, there was nothing they could do. The crowd was still there. So Mohbad now gave some money to his younger brother to go make a change out of it, like to go make a smaller pieces out of the money. And then Mohbad's brother went. And then he took forever to come back. So according to Wunmi, that angered Prime Boy. And when this boy showed his face, Prime Boy lashed at him. What took you so long? Why you kept us waiting? And then the boy did not spare him. Mohbad's younger brother too gave it back to him. And then the fight started. So for Prime Boy, he was expected that Mohbad should have cautioned his younger brother. But to his surprise, Mohbad was actually taking side with the younger brother. So this angry Prime Boy the more, because he said that he wouldn't have sit down and watched his own younger brother rain insults on Mohbad. And then Prime Boy went ahead to call Mohbad promise, of which Prime Boy know that Mohbad does not want to be addressed as promise in the public, and that Mohbad's friend still went ahead to tell Mohbad to shut up. And Mohbad was so angry, and he had to get down from the car because Wunmi said that she was seated right between the two. That is Mohbad to one side and Prime Boy to the other side. And then Mohbad got down from the car, make a turn to the other side of the car where Prime Boy was seated. And when she saw that the thing had gotten out of hand, so she too got down and went to the other Prado that they went with to call the guys in those Prado to come help her separate the fight. And that when she came back, the crowd had already gathered. They've already made an issue, and Mohbad had already sustained an injury. So everything settled, and then they went back home. So now we're gonna continue with what transpired on Monday, at least the next day of the show. Wunmi testifies that after the ugly incident at the show on Sunday, she was very angry, visibly angry with Mohbad. And Mohbad recognized her silence and her anger, and then he went ahead to approach her, and then they made up. And then Mohbad went ahead to show her the injury is sustained. And then Wunmi said he asked Mohbad that then they have to go to the hospital. But Mohbad rejected and said, it was just a minor wound that, it's going to be fine. He doesn't need to go to hospital because of this. And Wunmi even know that Mohbad had phobia for hospital ever since his experience with the so-called NDLA people who allegedly gave him a substance to drink, which led to his hospitalization. That Mohbad had serious phobia for hospital, to the extent that Mohbad actually begged her that she should give birth at home rather than going to the hospital for delivery, that it was that bad. So Wunmi said that she also noticed that the injury he sustained was just a minor one and it was not deep. So she said she only helped him and apply a methylated balm or a rub just around the injury, and that was it. And Mohbad went ahead to even tell her that a nurse will even come to check out the wound. So that was Wunmi's testimony on what happened just before Mohbad passed on. So now let's talk about how Mohbad died. Mohbad died. Wunmi said that Mohbad's personal nurse was not available at the moment, and that Mohbad's friend Spending had made an arrangement for a nurse to come treat Mohbad at home. So when the nurse came, that was on Tuesday, when she came, Mohbad's DJ was there and his friend Spending. Those two told the nurse that, "Nurse, Mohbad is an usher patient," which was fair enough in order to, help the nurse with her decision on what and what not to administer on Mohbad. So Wunmi, on the other hand, she said she was simultaneously cooking in the kitchen while the nurse treats her husband. So she said she was there, and then when she stepped out of the kitchen, she heard Mohbad telling the nurse to stop, and that the injection was making him feeling funny. And before they know what was happening, Mohbad fell on the ground and began to vomit and convulse. Hurriedly, Wunmi jumped out of the house to the neighbor's house to beg for their car, because their own car was at the mechanic. And then the neighbor came in no time. They rushed Mohbad into the car and then to the hospital. But unfortunately, on their way to the hospital, they met a terrible traffic jam on their way. And Wunmi stopped the car and then got down to get a motorbike, popularly known as Okada in Nigeria. And then they rushed Mohbad on that Okada or motorbike to the hospital. And she said when they got to the hospital, the nurses or the hospital team took Mohbad from them and then wheeled Mohbad into the ward, of which she was not allowed to go in with them. She said she was there until after 15 minutes later, and then the doctor came out to pronounce Mohbad dead. She said she could not believe her ears. She could not believe her eyes. And then she busted into crying. And then she picked her phone to call Mohbad's mom, Mohbad's cousin, and some other few close relatives to tell them what has happened. And that was Wunmi's account or Wunmi's testimony on how Mohbad died. So now, on how Mohbad was already buried and why he was buried in an undersized coffin or casket. Wunmi said that probably Mohbad's mom might have called his dad, and that his dad came and took Mohbad's body away, and that she was sidelined on any arrangement concerning Mohbad's burial. She said that she was not even aware that her own husband was going to be buried. She said, also added, that ever since her husband passed, she has not been able to stay in the house, that she constantly gets death threatened from internet users, and people were there promising that they were going to kill her and claiming that she had murdered her own husband. So this was Wunmi's story or testimony, and I'm going to end this video now, and I'm going to do another video detailing Wunmi's testimony on what transpired or the relationship between Mohbad and his record label boss Naira Marley. and what happened to Naira Marley and Sam Larry at the moment. So we've come to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed, do it to subscribe. Bye.